Okay, is this better? Okay, are you getting sound now? Yes, okay. So we're ready. Yes, I forgot one little button. Okay. Yes, I haven't done it for several months, so excuse me. I think we're fine now. So, Dr. Stewart, you can go ahead.
We're going to talk about both aspects of T-Rex, when he's lovable and when he's ferocious. Right? But to understand about T-Rex, you have to understand that he's built around skeleton. And so we have to reduce all this from the bone. So here's that first slide. We're going to show you the two T-Rexes and the basis of his talk. The first T-Rex, right here, is the same one that he held exactly the same one. He was discovered by Dion Stewart in 1987, and when he discovered a T-Rex, the T-Rex was named after him. So this became Stan because Stan discovered it in 1987. This one is a black-tailed lizard. It belongs to the church, and it's you may have recognized it from the telephone. Exactly, they tell them how to use it. A few $1,000. Okay? And so that's how college got it. It has 65% of the which is really, really high. The number one of all time is two, named after the Henderson, who discovered it in 1990. You know what's the story? They're on their way out from Dion Stewart, and they got a flat tire. Everybody said, you guys are all looking at that. Could you walk around a little bit? Who walked up onto the wall and really look at that? On the way out from the suitcase, you'll get that. At the very end of the season, very last day, it's completely packed up, and she discovered it. Now, she discovered it in 1990, but it didn't make it to the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago until 1997. And the reason why, it was such a beautiful T-Rex. The property owner said it's mine. And what happened is we were all the way through the court system. From 1990 to 1997, it went through the court system. And the scientific community said our history of the earth should not be private property. And the owner of the land said, this is just like oil rights, mineral rights, everything else on my land should be mine. He won. Okay? Therefore, it cost $7.6 million. Very huge. Educational institutions have that kind of money. So, McDonald's and a whole lot of others came through and bought it for $7.6 million and gave it to the Chicago History Museum. But this, if it was asked to slide for me, this has produced one of the most difficult things about understanding dinosaurs. All the landowners now are asking for millions, and private dinosaur hunters are coming in. This one right here has been found on this guy's land, and it turns out that we now know that it's two dueling dinosaurs that fought to death over each other. Asking price, $7 million. It's going on rock, and it's going to go forward at the minimum. And so all of the research institutions and the educational institutions are out of it. And private collectors are now collecting it. For instance, this particular guy here, you may recognize the page, bought that T-Rex skull for $175,000 and it's in his living room. Okay? So the understanding of dinosaurs is in a big fight. Just 2 weeks ago, one of the main dinosaur researchers had a teleconference that you could get in on how the way able to study T-Rex begin. Right? Because we're losing the ability to study them. Next slide. So this is a little bit of a side, but we'll show you where we get all those T-Rexes in the United States. We get them out of what we call the hell race and lab formation. It comes down here to that, the those codes down to those and two was discovered in South Dakota, and I think the other one is discovered in Montana. And here's the line that separates all dinosaurs at the local line down in the formation. And they're all in area above. Right here is the line as you go up through time. Okay? So this is about this down here, one Tyrannosaurus, and this line separates the line above it. And all dinosaurs are below the red line. So when you go out west, what's the red line? Oh, no, the red line is over on my slide. Okay, that's not going on my slide. But we'll show you what some of the undiscovered T-Rex really are. So let's turn to the next slide. And we want to talk to you just a little bit about what is a dinosaur. So nobody gets confused. So if we start back here, we're going to have mammals and dinosaurs and reptiles and everything else that lay eggs that have kind of a yolk inside that helps feed them. That's called the embryonic egg laying. And then the next thing that divides to get into this group right here with the red line are the dinosaurs. Well, what is a dinosaur? The first thing is we're going to talk about the mammals. And the way we do that is a hole in the skull. We only have one hole behind the eye socket. Okay? Whereas this group, the Archosaurus, or the dot that's over here, has two holes behind them. Okay? So that's the first thing that a dinosaur has. Two holes in the back of the head. And these are going to become very important because the muscles go down through there and make that lower jaw shut tight. Right? We don't need that to chew that hard. They have to chew hard. Now, when we're in this group, we're going to have Archosaurs and non-Archosaurs. And Archosaurs have real black teeth, a hole in the jaw. See, now the two holes in the skull over there, diaphyses, are shown by the way they open the tongue. Right? But when we get to Archosaurs and non-Archosaurs, they are shown by the black arrows. The Archosaurs have very black teeth, and they have an extra hole between the eye socket and the nose. Between the eye socket, and the nose is an extra hole in there. The Tyrannosaurus has it. Now, there's a lot of organisms that live at the same time as the dinosaurs that aren't dinosaurs, and people think they're dinosaurs. The first one of this is the Tyrannosaurus, which is a marine reptile. But look, it's over here. There's Tyrannosaurus here, right here. Also known as the large ant monster. It'll tell you a little bit about it as we pass it around. Okay, there's little tags through each one of them. We talk about it. Okay, so it's another dinosaur. The next thing about the dinosaur is right there is it has to have a hip structure that holds a hole in the hip structure so that the leg bone can come up and get the set and thing, so it stands upright. If you take a look over here, there's a crocodile. The crocodile does not have that hip structure. Crocodile legs come out to the side. You know, like this. Right? Now, one of the ones that people think is a dinosaur is the pterodactyl. But its legs come out to the side. They are underneath, so I don't have the right hip structure. So the pterodactyl, you'll be able to see, doesn't stand quite as the rest, right? And so pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. Right? People think that, well, this one and this one are dinosaurs, and they're not. The fourth thing that you have to get into the dinosaur group is you have to have that hole in the hip so that they can come and stand erect. Once we're inside of the dinosaur group, right, we're going to divide them on the basis of their hip structure. We're going to divide them into two groups. One group, and this group over here, so we're going to divide them on their hip structure. So the next picture shows this. We'll just do a little more. And so here's the legs coming straight down, and there's the femur, and there's the ball on the hip bone, and it goes into that socket. So these guys can stand erect. Now, we can subdivide them, and it's all in the hip. If you are a dinosaur specialist, you look at the hip. Right? I think the same here. The cat, it says I'm a dinosaur specialist. It's all in the hip. Here's the cup. It says I'm a dinosaur specialist. It's all in the hip. Doesn't say I said dinosaur, you get a cup, and it shows hip structure. And it's about a good thing that so not go around. Or looking at the other position I want to know. Okay? Let's try the next one. Now, when we divide them into two groups, the particular, there's the hole that they see dinosaur. Here's the bones that are interested. Does it go flow forward, or does the bones that are interested flow backward? The first set, Parisian hip, okay, also called lizard hip style, right? And that's going to have the Tyrannosaurus. The one that has the two bones going back like this is actually called bird-like hips, right? Or, as the bird studies, you say version of ornithology. So these are ornithopterygian hip structures. Now this is Stegosaurus, right? And people often make another mistake we want to talk to you about. This Stegosaurus, we'll tell you right here, I'll be part of this. It's the same famous dinosaur that not lived during the same time as the T-Rex. It went extinct some 60 million years before T-Rex showed up. And so people have a tendency to think that, okay, maybe the 2008 Stegosaurus, right? But no, Stegosaurus can't even live in the same, but we often show them together because we want you to understand the difference in their hip structure. Let's try the next slide. And we're going to divide them into two groups. Here's the birds that over here, and these are going to be grazers. They're going to be herbivores. They're going to eat grass. Well, there's no grasses at that time, so they're going to eat grasses, but they're going to eat leaves and plants. And they're going to be the major food supply for this side over here. All right? This side over here, my arrow's pointing at the T-Rex, right? And those that are meat eaters up there, okay, throughout the bars up there, okay, have the cesarean structure. So let's go to the next slide, and we'll kind of finish off the classification and look for everything stuff. So here we are. Over here was the front of hip ones, and I'm cutting out of the picture. Over here are the liver hip sacks. And over here, inside of the red band, are the meat eaters. The meat eaters. Now, if that's something like the meat eaters, okay? First of all, I can tell that they're going to be meat eaters by their teeth. When your teeth close down, you crunch stuff. You use compression. These meat eaters here, I can use things like scissors. So their teeth don't hit each other like that. Their teeth come down like scissors and cut. You can cut a steak with scissors much better than you can cut a steak by chewing on it. You know, they can get tough. So these are going to be meat eaters. We're going to look at their teeth for a minute. And then we're going to look at the toes. We have 1, 2, 3 toes, 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. And this group's going to have 3 toes. This group is saying I have a stiff tail. That's kind of interesting. These, that group right there, the brain, a good sternum has such a stiff tail you can hardly move it. Whereas these over here have real flexible tails. So we're going to use their anatomy, and then we're going to look at it. So let's go to the next slide and talk about yeah. These are the features that we're going to talk about. He has short little arms. Husband company, kind of like this, you know? Hard to clap. Right? And we're going to talk about his big sharp teeth. We're going to talk about this big tail like this. We're going to talk about his legs. The ball that way, and what kind of speed they can tell by how fast he can run. But the first thing that we like to make fun of is what were those short little two, they only have 2 fingers on them. What the heck were they used for? So let's take a look at that. Right, first thing is, we'll switch the slide, and the first thing is we make a lot of fun of his 2 really short arms. Next slide. Next slide, yeah. And these are some of the their arms are so short you couldn't reach the necessary things in life. Okay? And couldn't do push-ups. Right? Couldn't walk. Or you couldn't reach the other guy. Right? That's physically happy, and you know it. Clap your hands. Okay? And, if somebody was annoying him up there on the top of the head, you can get up there and swat him away. So we make a lot of fun of the dinosaurs. So they must have had something. So the next slide is going to give us an indication of how we can determine whether something is useful or not. When you actually do a stress analysis on these bones in the upper arm, even though they're very short, they are extremely strong. He could use those arms to hold something, push 500 pounds. Yes, bench press that. Okay, for stress analysis. Easily lift 500 pounds. So they must have some function. So weight and stress hypothesis that we got going is that it has to do with mating, which we're going to show in the next one. Okay? Next one. Now, only the Spanish would actually decide to put two T-Rex skeletons in the mating position. In the United States, that would be an X-rated. Okay?
But the no
Now,
problem code.
this is the Museum of the Graphic in Spain, and that's the exhibit. So they can show the use of the law. Okay? It can hold 500 pounds. Now, as a scientist, my feeling is just two things. First of all, it's too hypothetical. We haven't proven it yet. We shouldn't start charging things until we got it. Okay? And the second thing is there's a little social commentary going on here. Because if you start looking at the expression on his face, and even without the muscles, you can see, oh yeah, oh no. Right? A little too much social commentary. But leave it to the hot buddy. Be the first to try to show the use of two little arms. Let's go to the next one. Okay? Now, one of the reasons that guy is going to have those stars and have to do something is that the female is bigger. And this turns out a sure chance that Sue discovers the female and then discovers the male. Now we know that this one is the female and it's bigger because there's two features. First of all, even for its increased size, its hip structure is wider for allowing the passage of eggs. And these little chevrons on the bases of the egg, right? The chevrons that are right over where the egg would be, are sharp, like they are in the others. So we're pretty sure that that's the female, right? Has very similar features in those two respects to crocodile and crocodile male versus female. So this one is the male, and this is a slide from 2013. I used quite a few of Scott Hartman's slides. Because he has particularly excellent fashion. Okay, he's going. So the male is called the female is called the robot morphology. Okay, the other one is terrestrial. Okay, morphology meaning a lot more. Let's try the next one. Now, we talked about the short arm. Let's switch over here and talk about the tail. The first thing we found out about the tail is these vertebrae down here are so well fused together that this tail can't bend very much. That's why they call it stiff tail, right? When we classify them. And so the posture change, let's go to the next slide, and the posture for 77 years was this posture based upon the kangaroo, in which, and we still show all the animals this way. Just one tail here for the support, a leg there, and a leg there. He's upright, the tail's got this nice curve to it. And we showed the T-Rex, here's the T-Rex in the long posture for 77 years. Now, we realize that this stiff set of tail, and these cross sections per year, show that there is so stiff it can't stand. And the correct posture is now, okay, where the two legs are underneath, the tail is counterbalanced to the head. And one of the first movies to ever show this in the correct posture, Jurassic Park, it actually got the posture right. Okay? And there's the incorrect posture for many, many years. Okay? If this posture had been like that, we would have pinched those things so much it would have pinched the nerves so we would have had no feelings to the tail. No feelings to the tail. Let's go to the next one. So, now, the museums went back and realigned all of their things so that museums are now in the correct posture. But all the joints that you get are still in the wrong posture. So we now have a Tyrannosaurus Rex going around that says correct posture. So you a little bit about the correct posture. You get balance in there and balances on two legs. And the other one was balanced on the basis of a kangaroo. And this one's more like the bird, right? The correct posture. Now, she was average. They consider her, if she was average, that would mean that the largest Tyrannosaurus would be about 12 pounds. And so we'll talk about how big that is relative to others right? He's about 20th on the list of about 75 that we now know about T-Rexes that we can build information on. So let's show you the next picture and the next controversy. Now, if you actually want to see one of the real T-Rexes, Stan has been disassembled, and he's being assembled right now at the Smithsonian, and he's going to be unveiled this spring, okay, in about a month, right? He will be unveiled at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. He's on loan when you museum of the Rockies, and this guy right here, this is the guy that was the basis of the Jurassic Park movies. They call him Dr. Grant in the movie. His real name is Dr. John Horner, and he is the #1 specialist in T-Rex. Okay? And he has more T-Rex skeletons than anybody. And that's his T-Rex, and he's right now in Washington looking at reassembling this. Okay? This one is Rankle, named after Kathy Rankle. Okay? You would think that they would have used her first name to call that one Kate. You understand? Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. And we're going to talk a little bit about the teeth. All right? Now, here's a little gal. She's looking at the teeth again. You can see that they're real sharp and they're curved backwards and they're flat. And what's interesting is when you look at them this way, you look at the upper jaw and the lower jaw, they bypass each other and just touch like a blade of scissors. That type of stress is called shear stress of shearing sheath. Right? And scissors cut things like shear stress. We break things by compression. So if your teeth are coming down on top of each other, you're crunching a cracker, you crunch that cracker with compression. This would be like cutting up a cracker with scissors. You do a good job, okay? But you'd have to use a lot more pressure. So we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that these teeth are used to cut. This is going to control a certain amount about how he eats and how his diet is. So the next picture is going to show us that. Now, number one thing about these teeth is that they're like sharks and other organisms. They replace their teeth. And this tooth is always growing in. If we lose a tooth, you can get an implant. You just have to live with that little gap. But these teeth, here is the jaw, and they've x-rayed the jaw, and they can see the new growth lines coming in, and the old growth lines. Here's the old tooth, here's the replacement tooth. He got a new tooth about every 2 years. That's not too bad. So you lost 2 years later, you have a new one. And 2 years, the old teeth get pushed out, like they do when you're a little kid, okay? And so he's constantly putting in new teeth, right? So they've been able to assess how quickly those teeth go back by looking at the individual growth lines. The next picture is going to look at one of the big controversies. He's certainly tearing up flesh, but there's 2 ways to do it. The first way is that you kill it. 100. Oops, did we go past 2 little ones?
Oops.
Did
Let's see, how do you, just the arrow keys?
Did it go? I have the.
Wait a minute, oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, what
Okay,
is
I
it?
can feel it with one. Let's go. Now.
Okay.
So, yeah. He's going to be an easier. And we want to be curious about what he eats. So one of the ways to be able to tell what he eats is to look at his poop. Now, fossilized poop is called coprolite. Coprolite. And so the largest coprolite ever found was this one right here. And when they began to analyze it, they found that there were pieces of undigested meat that went through that Tyrannosaurus. He basically couldn't chew it. He just tore off big pieces of meat, and they went through his digestive system, and then he took them out. All right? We want to be hot question. They're not too good. Okay? So, and the other thing is still shredded bone. He can bust the bone like scissors cutting crackers. So he has a lot of power in his jaw. And we'll do an analysis of how much power in his jaw in different seconds. So here is his #1 food supply. This is Triceratops. the number one food supply of T-Rex, right? And it's a grazing dinosaur. So we're looking at, and if the, and if the Tyrannosaurus is funny, the T-Rex raises his head, and this little shield right here stops the attack on the vertebrae. Let's try the next one, because the question was, how, what could he, here's a T-Rex coprolite cross-section, and in it are the skull plate of this one right here. This particular dinosaur right here, okay, Tyrannosaurus have a skull plate that's greater than 10 inches thick, and that's 9 inches right there. So the top of his head is 10 inches thick of bone. And he's got crushed pieces of his skull plate, right? Right here's the guy, right? The most thick-headed dinosaur there is. And when you take a look inside of the coprolite, I find pieces of his skull that went through. So he has a tremendously powerful body. Let's try the next one. Now, large head plus muscle, power to the jaw. Remember, we talked about those extra openings. Those extra openings have the muscle, so they attach to the top of the head. So he can close that mouth. When you actually chew, you think about the upper jaw when you fully the lower jaw. Right? The lower jaw goes up and down when you chew. Right? The upper jaw is pretty much stationary. So he has, and so when they do stress analysis and they put the things back together, they can generate these 3D stress analysis test power to the jaw 1,100 newtons, 6 tons of pressure, the equivalent to a stuffed elephant sitting on your chest. So there's enough force with those sharp teeth to easily crack the vertebra or break up the skull. Right? They say the strongest fight of any animal that ever existed on the planet. Right? To crush cars. Right? When we crush cars, we use a lot less force than that. Let's try the next picture. And here is the controversy I thought we were going to talk about a little earlier. Was he a hunter or was he a scavenger? Everybody assumed he was a hunter. And then John Hunter began to say, he's not a scavenger, he's a scavenger. He finds dead things and eats them. Right? Now, a hunter is going to bite the following method. See how he attacked a Triceratops? If you're going to attack and kill, you're going to bite the vertebra to kill it. You don't want to bite with your own life to kill it. You're not going to kill it. You're going to have a big fight. So you're going to attack and you're going to bite the vertebrae to kill it. Just like the lion. All right? If he's a scavenger, he's going to eat the biggest piece of meat. I mean, if you go out and have chicken, you don't have to do that. And you go out and have the chicken, you're going to say, I want the breast, I want the drumstick, right? Well, he's going to come up with this guy, and he's a scavenger, he's going to bite for food. But if he's a hunter, he's going to bite the next vertebrae. So there's a lot of controversy. So let's find out where the bark marks are. The next slide shows the bite marks, teeth marks. This one only has the Tyrannosaurus tooth mark on its arm. The whole dinosaur was there. No bites on the neck. All the bites are on the arm. Scavengers. However, here is one. That's the vertebra of a Triceratops. And right there's the tooth mark. That acts as the Triceratops. And it's the vertebrae. So which one is it? Probably both. Now, when you start looking at Stan, and Stan has a hole in his head, right? A tooth mark right to the top of the skull, crushed the part of the skull, he lives through it. It heals. So they're also fighters. Most of the marks are on Stan, okay, who has a lot of bite marks on him, turn out to fit other type T-Rexes. So they fight each other. And this probably has to do with when they are in season and they're mating. They don't get along. You know, lots of animals fight over mating. And so Stan has lots show attacked by other T-Rexes. So the chances are they're hunters, scavengers, and fighters. Right? Now we're deducing what they're like. Let's show the next one. So one of the reasons is the scavenger argument. He's not fast running. So we'll figure out how fast he can run. But we can tell this because if we take a look at a real sharp object and he's going to step on it, we know the speed of which nerve signal could go. The speed with which the nerve signal can go is 180 feet per second. So if he wants to step on that and he doesn't want to step on it because it's really sharp and it's going to hurt his foot, he's going to have to release. He's going to have to get the signal that he's stepping on something sharp before his foot goes all the way down on the nail. And so when you do the message, it's all the way to the signal. And if you have him running very fast, T-Rex would not be able to feel his speed. He would be running blind if he can move at 20 miles per hour. Right? Just on the basis of how fast nerve signals can make it up the leg and to the brain and make a response. So he probably does not go 30 or 40 miles per hour. He's probably going to go 20 miles per hour or less. So, now, therefore he's running like a modern elephant. They still go a long way fast, right? But not as fast as we show them in Jurassic Park, where they chase the car down, going 40 miles an hour. Right? Let's go to the next picture. Now, we want to figure out how fast he does it. There's several mechanisms by which we figure out. One is called stride length. So here's a stride length. You can see left, right, left. So when we start doing this, we can say that when they start running, you lean further forward and you move faster and your stride increases compared to your hip length. So if I know the hip length on a dinosaur and I go look at the stride length, I get a ratio. Here's S for the stride. Okay, there's the stride length, left foot to left foot. H is how far it is from the ground to his hip. We know that from all of the dinosaurs. And if that ratio is greater than 3, he's running. Or she's running. Right? And in this one, the ratio is 3.1. So I got one that's running. Now let's go to the next part. When you start, let's go to the next one. When you run, right, so here's 7.75 meters, okay, here's stride length, so here's the relative left foot to left foot, 7.75 meters, height to the hip, 2.5 meters, that ratio here is 3.1, running. Now we're going to have to figure out the speed. This 3.1 is called the relative stride length, and you take it, you go up to the curve, right, and this is based on all the animals, and you come over to here, and then you figure out how fast they have to go forward for that speed. And then the whole gravity stops them from falling off. Okay? Forward momentum, forward gravity, put gravity in there, and you can calculate using gravitational pressure, the formula, and you're going to run them at 17 miles per hour to make them fast. Okay? And so when we start doing the small, we were talking earlier about small Tyrannosaurus rexes and large Tyrannosaurus, not rexes. Rexes are the big ones. We think that they lie between 12.8 and 19.2 miles per hour. They didn't get up really fast. Next picture shows, we'll go to the next picture, and the next picture shows a muscle analysis. This is done out of the University of London in the biomechanics lab. And they model them, and what they do is they put every little muscle where it's going to fit, how it's going to work, and then they do 3D analysis, and they move quickly, and they say that the maximum speed is 18 miles per hour and runs like a chicken. Isn't that weird? Okay? 18 miles per hour. So all the evidence, biomechanical, drive leg, is showing the same thing. Now, when we start talking about making fun of movies and so forth, the next slide shows us in Jurassic Park where he's running 40 miles per hour. And he's chasing the car down. Now, it also does skull analysis and stress analysis. If you were in a car going 40 miles an hour and hit a brick wall, you'd hit that windshield and you would break your head. Right? Same thing to the rest. a fall at that speed would be fatal. If T-Rex ran into that tree at 40 miles per hour, it crushes the fall. Right? And we know that we just want to watch. Right? And so it was fun to watch it in the movie. Let's try the next thing. Now, we're going to talk about how long they live and how do they grow. Right? And there's dormant periods where we see that. And in the dormant period, this is the bone structure right here. Here's the outside of the edge of the bone. Here's the interior edge of the bone. And I've got white arrows pointing at dormant period. So there's a lot of growth there. And then there's a lot of growth here. Then there's a little growth. And then there's a little growth. A little more, a little growth, a little growth like that. Okay? So they're like tree limbs. So he had a period of time where he grew like crazy. Just like adolescent humans. You grow really long. And then when you're older, you don't grow much at all. And so we can work out the growth pattern for T-Rex. And it looks like this. The T-Rex really starts growing very slowly at the beginning. And then he grows really fast. And then by the time he's 20, he flattens off. And he usually dies late 20s, early 30s. Two was 29 years old when she died. They think it was old age. They had a growth spurt. During your growth spurt, you were having 4.5 pounds of day. That's a lot. That's a lot of mass. But you got to have to get up to 12 tons, right? So right here, from about teenage years, they grew like crazy. The next thing the next slide goes into another aspect. We find hardly any fossils. Here's a T-Rex in a death pose, and it's really small. We hardly find any young T-Rex. We find old ones. Now, we think that this has one of three things. They could be like humans, in which you take care of your young. And so, humans have a real good survival rate when they're young, and then when they get old, they all die altogether, right? You know, when you start getting to 65, so people start dropping like flies, right? But if I take a crocodile, for instance, or some of these sea turtles, they have lots of young, and they all run out and get eaten right away. Okay? And so their survivorship curves drop really fast, and we may start off with 1,000, but by the time they're 25% through the lifespan, only a few of them are left. A lot of people thought that was the way the T-Rex was going to be. But the T-Rex, right here, was almost more human. The first thought was maybe they take care of their young for a lot longer period, just like humans do. Right? They were top predators, so nothing really ate them. Right? And the other they're now beginning to think is that dinosaur hunters like big bones. You're like walking along in the jungle, and there's a big bone. Hey, there's a little one over there. Okay. Look at that big bone. And so maybe it's the human bias that makes it so these are so rare to be found. They're harder to see, harder to find, right? And maybe the T-Rexes are not taking care of their young like humans do. But the thought was that T-Rexes took care of their young, and they started to die as soon as they hit adolescence. They started fighting with each other, as well as showing they fighting and bites of each other on some level. So let's go to the next pattern. Dinosaur size comparison. We always think of T-Rex as being huge. This. And when we have these little models going on, by the way, all these models are available at the Dollar General Grocery. Okay? Okay? Dollar General Grocery. Now, this is the largest of all the dinosaurs. If we compare this one right here, here's the Stegosaurus that we showed you earlier. Here's this long, okay, Arthropod. Okay? This is the largest of all of them. That's the name of the Argentina variety. Okay? He's about 100 tons. The T-Rex was about 12 tons. So he's a lot bigger. There's the T-Rex, too. Here's the Velociraptor. Okay, so there's the biggest that we want to know about. And here's the Velociraptor. You saw him in the movie. He's only 6 feet tall. He was a lot bigger in the movie than he really is. He was only this size. And this little curved little thing that Dr. Grant Hood said was telling the little kid, it rips your guts up. And it was used for climbing. His main source of killing with his teeth. Right? So you can take a look at the Velociraptor as well. So look at how small the Velociraptor is compared to humans. And look at Sue. Here's Triceratops. Now the shadow is not a large. The shadow shows you how big the largest one is that we know about by a single bone. Okay? We don't have the whole thing. Two, we think, is only about the right size. So we didn't show a shadow. But here's the Stegosaurus. Some of the bones of the Stegosaurus show that some of them may have gotten more large on the basis of the shadow. Right? So this is the largest one, 10 times heavier than that one. Let's try the next one. Now, we were talking about fossilized food, coprolite. The largest one ever found from the biggest dinosaur was found in Sarah Palin's backyard in Alaska. And when 2010, largest coprolite ever found, I was just speaking there, and when Sarah was our lecture to her at the time, and when she was advised that the coprolite was in her backyard, she said, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I don't have any coprolite countries there. For heaven's sake. Next one. Okay, there we are, pulling it out. Now let's talk about the largest meat eaters, because people think that, well, by golly, you've got to be the largest meat eater. But he's not. Here's T-Rex, often 7.5 tons. They often think it's about average up to about 12 tons. Here's Tyrannosaurus is the largest carnivore dinosaur. Right here is Tyrannosaurus. He's the largest carnivore. What do you see there? And when you get the little mouths, you really can't tell. Right? So we tell you right here, what is the largest carnivore? We compare him to T-Rex. Right? And he's 30 feet tall. T-Rex is right here. T-Rex is almost 30 feet tall. Those are the meters. So 14.5 feet. Okay? There's the other top of the pin, 19 feet. 14 tons, 7.5 tons. Yeah. Let's try the next one. We're almost through. Now, the next one is real interesting stuff. Jack Horner found a 68-million-year-old juvenile. Yeah, it was very deep. Now, when you actually take them, you don't carry them out in the field and collect all the bones. You package them, and you have the helicopter lift them onto the truck or the bin, and then you take them in and you do it very slowly in the lab. Well, the helicopter couldn't lift it. It was too heavy to lift. Had too much rock around it. So he said, we're going to have to break some of the bones. But when they broke the bones in the field, they suddenly saw all of this soft tissue inside of the bones. Now, the creationists had a heyday. Well, they can't be 65 million years old. They still got soft tissue in them. See, everybody's been lying to you about the age of dinosaurs. But in the latest issue of Bone Magazine, January of this year, this documentary work, you don't want to go out to Montana and work with John. And you want to be a paleontologist. That's the guy to work for. She's at North Carolina State University, and she is okay? She is the one that is doing all of the amino acids and the proteins and all the soft tissues inside of these teeth-bearing bones. And she's finding that inside of these little bones, or what preserves them, is a crystal of a mineral called goethite, or goethite, depending on where you grew up. Right? In the West, they call it goethite. In the East, they call it goethite. Okay? But that little crystal which is an iron oxide, hydroxide, allows it to stabilize. They've done oxide bone, okay, just out in the air, and they can stabilize it for 20 years by having to do something. So these that have been buried, they find a little bit like this, and they make it and stabilize it. And the reason it is science fiction becoming science reality is because they can actually, they're going to get the DNA of the dinosaur, of the bone. Now, how much of it look like in Jurassic Park? But from the actual bone of the dinosaur itself. It's scary. Next one. Now, we want to finish off with how many existed. Now, when you start talking about how many existed, you take a biology class, there's a food pyramid. And generally, for warm-blooded things, this level, which we eat plants, is about 90-10 ratio. I mean, if I had 100 of these, I'd have 10 of those. If I had 10 of these, I'd have 1 of those. Right? And so I consume 90% of the base alone. That's if I'm warm-blooded. If I turn out that I'm cold-blooded, it's about 70%. Right? Roughly. But when we actually take a look at the dinosaurs and the predators and the prey relationships of all these different organizers, and we come across, these are the predator to prey ratios. I need, okay, for 3 or 4% dinosaurs, I'm going to need 97% out of the material for it to live on. So, the bones tell us the same thing, but we start to look at these. So the next picture shows us calcium longevity. Well, here's the dinosaur food pyramid. Each level consumes 90% of the level below it. So here's my T-Rex. This is a duckbill, right? Named after Edmund of Canada. Okay, they named it after that because that's what it does. But this one has, so I need 100 pounds of plants. I don't have grasses yet. Grasses don't come around until the middle of the Cenozoic. Okay? So when we say that herbivores, they're eating leaves off the trees. They're like grasses on the ground. And then I need, that'll put 10 pounds of him. This is 1 pound of T-Rex. Right? So the food pyramid in the tropic level, the who eats who, controls how many we can get. Next picture. So the next thing is we want to look at the ratio of the food supply, Triceratops and others. So I'm going to go back to Montana, right? There's the little area in Montana that's talked about. We're going to go into the Hell Creek Formation, and if you want to find the clear, you can write that down a little bit. There's still 2 in the rock right here. They're not even get taken out, okay? But you can just walk in the pretty good, and there they are, right? 2 T-Rexes. Okay, next one, right? Now, if we start going up through there, the Tyrannosaurus is in the red. And so there's quite a few of them. They grow, and their food supply, Triceratops is shrinking. Look at the Triceratops way up there. And the Tyrannosaurus, well, the Tyrannosaurus is actually shrinking. Okay, and they can switch food supply, right? And I give you all of these references, but this is again Horner, 2011. He found all of these with different research on 2011. So you can see the ratio of the food supply to the T-Rex. We got just about similar slides, and we'll be done. So, ratio, live prey to T-Rexes, 4 to 1, not 9 to 1. She's had to have a more diverse diet than seen in the fossil record. And so what they think now is that they were cannibals. They ate with each other. Probably after scavenging. They probably didn't kill each other and then eat them. Okay? So they're now thinking that they're scavengers and that they're cannibals and they ate themselves. But it's so hard to get a 4-to-1 ratio when you want to know, okay? It's hard, right, crazy to see it. Let's take a look at the next set of slides. And we now have these there where we're finding the T-Rexes. And when we want to find how many of them there were, you have to figure out how big was the land there. You also have to say, how many of them actually died and fell in the water, got covered with sediment, so the other things didn't eat them? They usually consider 1 in a million to make a fossil. So I find the fossil T-Rex, there have been a million T-Rexes that decayed and got eaten by others. There's over 1 million that roam to this section of the country in the San Antonio. At any one time, 90,000 of them were alive. That would be like 1 for 110. That would put 75 of them in the metro area of Atlanta. Just enough that you would look over your shoulder all the time to make sure one wasn't following. Right? You would not be top of the food chain. He would, or she would. Right? So this gives us a rough idea of how many there were. Just enough to keep you scared. Next one. We want to figure out how smart they were. Right? And here's how you do this. And the size of the brain. Okay? And we draw a line through there, this line, and if you're below the line, you're done. You have a big body and a small brain. If you're above the line, you have a big brain for the size of your body. And so I can measure the brain cavity and things like that. Now we can see up here the size. As we get further off the line, we get larger and larger ratio. Big brain, smaller body. And so here's humans, right? Here are bottlenose dolphins. Here are monkeys, right? And as we get closer and closer to the line, there's the line at 1-to-1, dogs, sheep, horses, okay? And if we start putting T-Rex on there, okay, you can see the hand now. The T-Rex has a value of 1.8. Here's 1, here's 4. The T-Rex is about that size right there in its ratio. It's a smart dinosaur. Right? We can compare. If we compare to mammals, it's greater than a cat, less than a monkey. I wouldn't compare to mammals, but that's about where its intelligence lies. So these carnivores are way up to here, and then it was T-Rex at 1.8 for its ratio of the two. And this is called the intelligence, not the IQ. It's called the EQ, because you're looking at just volume of the head versus volume of the body. Next couple slides say, if he's really smart, I speak 11 phrases. Probably not that smart. Okay? But kids love T-Rex. Now, on that slide, being a T-Rex for Halloween. Now, we don't do anatomy well. We can excuse that here. We can just say, put that on at the tail. You have to anatomy well. Okay? But we make mistakes like this all the time. In this exosaurus over here, we've never found his teeth. We have no idea what his teeth look like yet. And we got the wrong head on the wrong one for the brontosaurus, right? And so there's still a lot of anatomy that we don't know about these dinosaurs. We can excuse it in kids, and we can excuse it in paleontology. The next one is that our kid's son, right? So that's the end of the quote. I hope you enjoyed the talk on T-Rex. You kind of put that in real fast. I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Maybe the T-Rex is big over, that's why they're fighting on it?
Probably not, because we just don't find the skeleton. But if they ate the young, we find the skeleton. Okay? Right? But, the boss, eat your kids.
Too much energy to make it. Well, thank you for coming, and stay tuned for the next talk that's coming up on March 18th about superconductivity. So that's going to be a special treat. Research professor from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and we're just lucky to have her brother-in-law working for Deducing and get her family visit. Okay, yeah, here. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can go through and find the different things, just, this one, real interesting on the soft tissue being preserved. I don't have the greatest stones, okay? Where do I get that? I get it.